and welcome back to the Scrapbook Podcast, Season 2. Make our movie. Same approach, different execution. Please enjoy the show. And welcome to the Scrapbook Podcast. I am your host, Jody Pratt, with my fellow host, Patrick Wigfall.
Yo.
This is Act 2 and 3 of Swamp City.
Swamp City, bitch. Swamp City, bitch.
Of Swamp City, and here we go. So we set it all up. I am pulling from the,
The Rolodex that the polar bears drink from.
Exactly, that shit. And all right, so I want to say they hold their town meeting because I want to go literally right into action.
Okay.
So we have Oliver holding court at the town meeting, and the population of Swamp City, like we said before, is 450. At the meeting is 150 people.
AM. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, got it.
Shout out to my nigga Patrick Shorthand. It goes, but it comes again. You know what I mean?
Just like an STD. Go ahead.
So we can get it started with them holding court, and he's letting everybody know. Oliver is. He's letting everybody know that the revenue has gone up. You guys are doing a great job. I appreciate the carpenters of the city. I appreciate the electricians of the city. I appreciate, the mechanics of the city. Everybody's doing well. We are low on such and such, and, let's make this next month let's gear head towards that, I appreciate the trappers and the hunters of the city. I appreciate, he goes down the line and, because everybody does something.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best part about this all-black city and all-black cities back then. It's that everybody does something, and they give to each other, and in return they give in action, or of course they give in action, but they give
a service
that they are particularly skilled at.
Yeah.
So.
Bro, you need to get wired up. I'm an electrician. I got you, dog. Hey, you need some carpentry done? I'm a carpenter.
Yeah.
And when you deal with your own peoples, dog, in the small community that trust each other, you build empires. Factual.
And so the meeting adjourns. Everybody shakes each other's hands. Everybody's real happy that this month's meeting concludes. Or I forgot how often they have the meetings, but let's say each month. Just a overview of what we've done so far this month, and so on and so forth. So the following day, Oliver gets a letter. Lennox receives it and gives it to Oliver, we'll say, and he's like, it's demanding a meeting with Stephen Duke, right, the head of your local chapter of the clan, right? So he's like, should we do this shit? Lennox says, and Oliver's just like, we've been fine all by ourselves. They're going to try to extort us in some sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're going to step on.
Why wouldn't they? Why the fuck wouldn't it though? You know what I mean?
So Lennox is like, we're going to fight. We're going to fucking fight. And he's like, look, there's no reason why we should fight. Oliver says, and when we're living in such prosperity, they left us alone for this long. Why would we just shake up the cage?
Mm-hmm.
And if they're asking for a little bit,
because you're in a cage, it's just a big cage.
Yeah,
it's not a cage where they come check on you every so often.
Yeah, and it seems like they've never at this point that they've never had contact. So maybe a few fishermen of the city ran into outside fishermen. You know what I mean? And that's why their export of fish and shit are so well, is because they freely give information on how to catch local fish, how to catch local to outsiders, and they appreciate them, and they come in and buy. You know what I mean? Just as a thank you.
Mm-hmm.
My motherfucking daughter was starving, says a white guy, and you looked out for me on how to, And
he bites his tongue because it's not a room full of white people. It's a room full of African Americans.
Yeah.
And he's just like, for real, you saved my daughter from starving.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then he just realized, oh, these are
all black people, but since no other white people
peoples.
are around, I'm not going to
say anything out of pocket.
Yeah.
Say anything that I grew up saying.
Yeah, fronting, really.
Yeah.
Because you're shaking his hand, like, with tears in your eyes, thanking him that my family's fed. I couldn't catch shit for weeks. And he was just like, oh, it's on the eastern side, and you gotta
catch
bait
it at this time of the day. You know what I mean? You feel me? It's how the fish go. You know, they're not late feeders. They're early feeders. Mm-hmm. You're doing it too late in the evening.
Yeah,
something simple like that. But he's like caught enough to feed his fucking family. And back in the day, man, that's called saving a life.
Yeah, for real though. Niggas is with distended bellies and shit. So that comes to mind when the thought of we haven't been fucked with. We have minimal interaction with white people. We have minimal interaction with any other race, which is all black people here. So we should be good, but this letter comes and it causes a little bit of a acid reflux in Lennox, right? Mm-hmm. So he's just like, Lennox is ready for war. That's what he wants to do.
Well, it's 1950s.
Yeah, but
I mean that's pretty close to like that's on the edge.
It's right after World War II because there are World War II vets here.
But the civil rights was popping off at the beginning of the 60s.
Exactly.
Really? So like,
but this is
everything's popping at this point.
This is a thing. This is exactly.
It's bubbling.
It's hand in hand, bro. This is one of the things that started the civil rights.
Of course. We wouldn't wait at the beginning of Hiroshima. We were like, let's build off that.
Yeah. Also, we have documented the very first Canadian Mountie. If you haven't heard it, a bowl of
fish and bread.
Yeah, a bowl of fish and bread is our documentation of the first Canadian Mountie. He rides a moose, cuz.
I won't say shit, but I'll tell you one thing. He don't ride a moose. He doesn't ride a moose, man.
Man, he totally does. Hey, so, all right, so like I said, Lennox is ready for war. He's wanting that smoke.
He want everything. Everything you got to give, he's ready to receive. Let's go.
Because he's a fellow World War II vet, and he got treated like shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There's some Tuskegee Airmen that are in this city as well.
I love that name, Tuskegee.
Everybody's assimilated very, very well together. Mm-hmm. You know, so, but Oliver's talking him off the ledge. He's like, man, we have, out of the 450 population, we have 180 soldiers ready to rock. You know what I mean? We got such and such people ready to go, too. You know what I mean? Everybody knows how to pretty much defend themselves here. So if they want a fucking war, they can have it. What's up? Lennox says. Mm-hmm. And then Oliver's just like, brother, you got to relax, man. You know, talking him off the ledge.
Got a real Malcolm X MLK thing going.
Yeah, exactly. Talk that shit, bro. So, at the same time, the conversation with the Dukes happened.
Okay.
Now, remember, Stephen Duke is now the chapter leader of the Ku Klux Klan in this Breitling, city of Breitling. His dad, Charles Duke, is an old crippled nigga from World War I. His twin brother, Michael, don't give a fuck about none of this. Already, Steven doesn't give a fuck really, but I want to say he served in World War II as well, and he saw what's real hate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He saw the real fucking
domestic anger and foreign anger are different.
Two different things.
We don't see each other as humans when we go to a different country. We see each other as people that are less than human. You know, like, here we're just like, it's different. But when you go across something and you travel to go kill somebody, you have to lose your humanity. To be able to walk away from that and be like, I took fathers away from families.
Sisters. I killed sisters.
I killed kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, to do that, you're not a human at that point.
And then you're surprised when they come back just crazy as fuck.
And they're just like, we gotta put him on this. We can't keep medicating him. Like, no, it's called like, don't send him to that.
Yeah.
It's called that.
Yeah, exactly.
There's only so much a human brain can take.
You know, and also we Barter's the word that I was trying to come up with.
48 minutes later, barter.
But Stefan comes back. Michael had some sort of medical condition that made he couldn't go to war.
Mm-hmm. What if it was just like asthma?
Yeah,
that's back in the day. Yeah. That's all you really needed.
Or being flat-footed or some shit like that.
Yeah, they're like, you can't run far or hold your breath. Get the fuck out of here.
And that's why Charles was so... He can care less about Michael, but he gave him the third in command, maybe the second in command under Steven.
That'd be nice for him to give somebody else over his other son.
Exactly. Just
to show you, like...
You fucking draft-dodging bastard. You're just like, I'm a bastard, Dad? Really? Okay.
Really? I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing.
Exactly. I mean... So, and Steven comes back, a fucking hero. He literally seen the difference between this and that, like you said, domestic and foreign. And he has a change of heart. Because before, he was a nigger this, nigger that.
Mm-hmm.
Mongoloid this, Mongoloid that type of person. Then he saw, or he saw, and maybe he has a purple heart. He came back. He took a bullet for the only black soldier in his platoon type of thing.
But it was somebody that he had grew an attachment to, and that he had tried to like push away and been like, nah, but like,
yeah,
bro was just a charismatic guy.
Yeah,
brought good energy to the troop, and he didn't let him die. And coming back, he's just like, it's kind of like my best friend was a black dude. And then he comes right back to being in the Klan.
Exactly.
Hey, but what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Exactly. So Charles steps down as chapter leader as his son comes in. Steven. Either one. It's spelled the fucking
You keep saying it different, and so I'm picturing two different people. Stick with the name.
It's still spelled the same, so I don't give a fuck. Right?
But I'm confused.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
Is it spelled the same?
Yeah, but you're
saying
it differently.
Is it the only character?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Kiss my ass. So Charles steps down. Stephen steps back in. Steps over everybody else. And
fresh out the military.
He takes over.
So he's got that military like mindset when he comes in.
Yeah, so everybody's more uniform. Everybody does this and that. Although he's reluctant to do it, it gets his itch of commanding out.
And this itch of just being in the military, like waking up at a certain time, doing what you need to do, having a regimented way of life.
Yeah,
they get that gets beaten in them, and if you get in any kind of position of power, that shit lasts way after you're out of the military.
Exactly.
You can ask any military person; they still clean, like fix their bed fresh out of like bed at like 5:22 in the morning.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Damn it, I'm not even out of bed at 5 in the morning anymore." It's like 5:22 and he's just standing there looking at a wall.
Exactly, bro. So the Klan at this point in time of Breitling is more so serving the town.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They get their shit out, they burn this or that. But they keep to the city, and any sort of shit that happens in the city, Steven's like, come to me. Just come to me, I'll handle it. And if he's by himself, he'll let the motherfucker slide. You know you're not supposed to be around here, bro. I'm just... you can just step to the side, you know? Maybe he also is the chapter leader as well as a sheriff. How you feel about that? Just so he's in charge.
That sounds about on point for how the Ku Klux Klan has gotten into our
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Fucking judicial system and police force.
Yeah.
Sounds about on point. Is that somebody who, and it would be somebody fraught with indecision and a new understanding of a people that they hated, but they didn't hate. They were taught to hate.
Exactly, like Charles. Charles is a perfect example of a teacher of hate.
Yeah. So and his brother, who's the one dating Theresa May?
Michael.
Michael ain't never been down with the action like that. He don't show up to none of the meetings.
Yeah.
He's out like just living a kid's life and being like, man, you know, I'm out here fishing.
Perfect example. Have you seen Matthew McConaughey in School Dazed and Confused?
Yes, sir.
That's Michael.
Yeah, okay.
That's Michael.
Without the
70s shit, that's
yeah.
Michael. I don't care about a lot. I just want to smash pussy and get famous.
I'm just out here to have fun, man.
Yeah.
I'm just out here to have fun, and you only get a certain amount of time in life before fun becomes.
Yeah, my
different.
dad's pushing all this white robe shit on me. All that shit is for fags.
Yeah,
like he's that kind of guy.
And he genuinely will hang out with like a Persian. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And not give a fuck if he bought some opium or something. He's just like, is he a druggie? Is he anything?
Hard tobacco. That's pretty much it. Not
hard tobacco.
Not an alcoholic, but
good.
He's a. Hey, bro, you got a cig? Like you want to hit the cigarette?
And then talking to them,
just chatting.
Yeah.
Just to pick his brain.
Yeah, he's got that silver tongue.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Can talk to anybody.
Talk a bitch out of their jaws. You know, you feel me?
Give Eskimo fucking ice. You feel me?
So Steven's the sheriff, okay, and that's how we literally just agreed on that.
No, I'm not.
Oh, you did this real hard.
I was just listening to you, sir.
You were like
last time.
this nigga's neck was like, what? He's the sheriff.
I hate this.
All right, I'm gonna cut that out.
Good.
So now Charles comes to him, and he's just like, son, you're running, the chapter well, but I hear rumblings of an all-black city. First and foremost, if I were, you know what I mean, one of those niggas, if I was running this shit,
hit his chest and like a bottle of like liquor fall out.
It's like a flask comes out, and it's just like a dick on it. If I were leading this chapter, we go show them what's what and take our part. You know what I mean? Because no nigger works harder than us.
God damn it.
And you're just like, Dad. We're doing good here, Steven says. We're doing good here. Let's keep it to our perimeters. And he just...
We don't have perimeters. We brought them.
You see all this shit?
It's all ours.
The air that they breathe. The earth that they walk on. Us. And niggas just like, Dad, relax.
You've been drinking. He's just like, yeah, I stopped the saloon. Nigga? And you're like, yo, nobody says that yet, dog. Nobody says that yet.
Yeah, I mean, I swear to God, the action's coming soon. I just got to work myself up. So, the meeting, that's what sets the meeting.
Okay.
Right? Over the next week, they're getting Oliver and Lennox are getting prepared and shit like that. And they go in there with like maybe 2 or 3.
Is there any montages of niggas like training?
No.
No? There's no Rocky shit where niggas like bobbing and weaving
because
and shit?
World War III was 3 years ago.
Okay.
I mean, 5 years ago. So, they're already war ready.
Okay,
you know
so
what I mean?
It was just us not talking about our problems to ready ourselves for battle.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Build all this energy
really
up.
Just...
Let it out in your face.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, he goes, Oliver goes, Lennox goes, and maybe 2 or 3 other people. Just his personal people that he trusts the most. That if anything happens, nigga, what's up? Mm-hmm. And then Theresa May comes as well. Because she's so wanting to see something different that it's eating her up. And the fact that they left her big cousin Lennox left her to go to war. They both left to go to war. It just drove her more, I want to get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? So they take her reluctantly, but they know that they can keep her safe. Their uncle was like, yo, you know the deal. They're like, yeah, we've come across niggas like this before. It's good. So the 6 of them go into town. They're all looked at, of course. They're all stared at. Kids is crying and shit. White women are coming out of their heels, running.
They're just like, why are you screaming like that?
Fainting and shit, stinking like...
Like, we got one dress, and you're going to ruin it all in this muck? Get the fuck up, Deborah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
Smell like mayonnaise. But so they lead up there, and they're walking up the steps to the... walking up to the steps of the lodge, right? And the doors bust open, all action style. So this is where the action sets in. We're setting this shit up. So the doors open is like, hey, can we help you? People that are other than Steven and Michael and Charles. It was like, hey boy, like you need something over here? And he just like, whoo, nigga, keep calm, Oliver, because I struck the nigga in the face with the back of a rifle that said nothing to me. He spoke German. Then I butt stroked him and took his face off for less.
And guess what I did? He had 14 quid in his pocket. Took all that 14 quid.
So he's just like, I'm here to meet, your chapter leader, Steven. And he's just like, looks him up and down and looks back, and Steven's walking up, and he's just like, Oliver, this is Mayor Oliver. You have to, talk with respect when when there's an official of, that's a leader, when they come around. I don't give a fuck what color they are. And the dude kind of like scoffs, like, type of shit. So he kind of lets that shit go, although we're in front of company and you do some disrespectful shit. Is one of the guys who doesn't believe in the way Steven's running the chapter. He wants more action. He wants to burn shit. He wants to kill people. He wants to do shit like that. You know what I mean? So Steven lets them in. They talk. It's like Steven, his second hand, and then his brother Michael's in there with Charles, and they're looking. They're talking and shit like that. And Michael and Theresa May meet eyes and shit, and he's just like, God damn, that woman's beautiful as fuck. And completely ignoring whatever the fuck is going on. He doesn't give a fuck about none of this, and he outwardly doesn't give a fuck, and he has two hands that you can have if you disagree with him. He doesn't care. You know what I mean? They're like, there's a percentage. If you're here in our jurisdiction, you have to give this shit. And Lennox stands up like, we're not giving you a piece of anything. You can have the hair on my ball sack. What's up? And dude's just like, oh, and then Charles is trying to stand up out of the chair, kind of like a FDR and polio and shit. He's trying to stand up. He's like, hey, nigga, you gonna talk with some respect. And he was like, man, fuck you. Everybody like, hey, all right, now goddamn, calm down. Oliver just like, we'll give you a piece of whatever the fuck. And then they're looking at him like,
what about that? What about instead of like Oliver immediately rolling over and be like, we'll give you a piece. What if it's about, we can give you something, and not a piece of our property, but like we can run off business to you or something?
That's what I'm talking about. You're not having a piece of their land. It's a piece of revenue.
Well, but like, it's not revenue based off them. It's revenue based off of the stream where people are going. Like maybe it's like a what would you call it? Like a pit stop. Like to come here, you have to stop here, get your essentials here, and you'll get to this territory fine. No matter what color you are, you'll get to this territory fine. As if you holler at us, holler at them, keep it pushing. Instead of being like, we're gonna give you something off top, because something off top makes it them winning all the time, and they're already winning. Obviously, if they could just wipe one black city off the map. But for them to not get because at that point, you're just getting a good profit because of how many people are going there. You're not getting a good profit off of how good they're doing.
But that's the whole point of taking from them.
But it's not taken from them. It's not a leapfrog thing, but it's like taking from them is that person didn't spend money at their shit.
Right.
They spent money, and that's why they're here. And you're a toll. You're a toll bridge.
Right. Are they collecting that toll bridge money?
Yeah. And that's what they're saying is like you can pass through this territory, but you have to have toll bridge, which would be them. Because for a city to build up, there's no way nobody came in and tried to be like, you gotta do this. Because if Oliver's like this and he's just like, yo, I'm not gonna take this shit, and then Brett's like, nah, well, like let's give him a piece. That's not how you build a sufficient city in an area where people don't want blacks. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like there has to be that like there's a line in the sand, and you're not just gonna bully us because we've been bullied before. There's no way to build a city without being bullied.
Right.
So to be like people will show up and they're just like, oh okay, we'll give you this. It has to be a line in the sand. Like we'll send niggas through your territory. You don't fuck with them, they'll give you a toll price. And so for every buck we get, you get a buck off of that. But we're not giving you the buck. We'll just send people to your territory instead of having to go around the mountain and giving them a 2-day hike to avoid you guys.
But the whole point of a white city is they don't want black people there. Don't even go through it.
But they do if there's a buck in hand, because they went into a black city to take a buck.
Exactly, without any sort of interaction with those black people.
But they had to walk through it though.
What?
They had to walk through the town to get to the niggas they want to talk to. Like they understand what it is. They understand it's a profitable fucking city.
Uh-huh.
And I do believe that once you see a certain amount of money, it's like even back then I do believe green is bigger than the color, because people are like, I can profit off this and I'll do this until somebody checks me on it or tells me not to do it. I do believe people let certain communities grow because of the profit that they were getting off of that community, and then somebody else was like, kill them. You know what I mean? Like there are people that seek after money more than everything else, and that's what I would assume helped build a city.
Okay, so how would this toll go? Can you draw this out for me?
All right, this toll would go as far as like to come through. You have to hit up the people, the 3 men, 2 men, whoever come in to talk to you, right? So, do you have any name for these people?
No, go ahead.
All right, let's go with Jeremiah. That's a great name, biblical.
Hey, right on something hard.
Here we go. Got it. Jeremiah, and then we got let's go with just gonna go all biblical. Malachi, Jeremy, and let's call him Solomon. No,
James.
Cool. Yeah. And so I would say all of these men are of different age, and so they don't bring the same energy. I'm not saying they don't bring racist energy. What I'm saying is that a certain amount of them are looking at the money factor of it, as opposed to somebody who's full racist being like, let's kill this town.
Right, but how does the toll work?
So the toll is you have if you don't leave. Like, they're keeping an eye on the town, obviously, right? And they're watching the trade routes of people coming in, and they're like, you come in one way, there's only one way out of here. And that way out of here leads to our town because they lead you to our town. Or we could do it like a toll because they don't want, black people in their town. They could just have a toll, like legitimately like a toll mark, or like where there's a dude on a horse drunk off bourbon who's just like, you from the black town? And then they just give him money to pass through without being assaulted or harassed, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I just, there has to be a back end, because you have to be tough to build a city in a area that doesn't want you. You don't just concede. You don't just go, okay, I'll give you this.
But that's conceding when you're telling somebody who doesn't have money to buy shit. That's why you barter, right? Mm-hmm. To give them money to walk to go barter. Like, what sense does that make?
There has to be a mafioso way of how it goes. It's not an upfront deal, but it's like, I'm going to make something off the back end, and the back end is that you got foot traffic. And there's only one way to leave this area. So we'll post up and just let them know.
Technically, it's not, since they are part fucking swamp. People can go in by boat. There's 2 different ways to go in there. How do you think the white people and black people give each other tips on the water?
Maybe it's a closed-off canal that they're blocking out. Because that's essentially what a swamp is. it's land bridges that lead to a bigger source of water.
Right.
You can't just swim out of every area, and then at certain parts of the month, the water's higher. You're not going to be able to
Which
get
they
to.
can rock. So whatever part that you're not saying as an absolute, as a you're not going to be able to do this during the monsoon seasons, you will be able to do this. You know what I'm saying? So everything isn't the absolute of you're not going to be able to do this because of this.
We get monsoon seasons in fucking
Louisiana, yes.
Swear to God.
Yes, you can.
I thought monsoon was like an East Coast thing.
No, it's not. It's where the fuck water is. Monsoons happen in fucking Arizona, bud.
Swear to God.
Swear to God.
Huh. Monsoon season, I could have swore was like only in the East Coast. God damn. Well. All right, so go with it then.
No, go ahead, run it. I'm done talking. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying like I don't have anything to build off of that. I have anything to build off of that.
Change it to exactly what that is. So instead of him having you're going to give us a piece of this, we're going to set tolls. Just say that. And go ahead.
Yeah, you just said tolls. There you go. Boom.
Okay. Go ahead.
That's it.
I mean, take it.
Oh, okay. I would say an asshole starts killing people for dumb shit. He starts killing people for like wanting more than he should at the toll. Mm-hmm. And that trickles down to being like, oh, it's okay for him to do this because he's one of the big cats. Mm. And then it becomes like a regular thing, and then people are just like, it's not safe to come through to your city. He's like, how are you telling us to go through this toll when every so often people don't show up where they're supposed to? Just to like feed on Oliver's like anger of like agreeing and obeying in his eyes. Mm. He's like, let's go to war. Let's bang. Let me do what I've been building these niggas to do. And homeboy's like, nah, man, like, let's just keep this city going. Because, you know, you poke too much at the tiger, eventually, like, it's going to bite back. And he's aware of the fact that they're the only black city in the area. In the state, probably, to be real.
No, not Louisiana, but...
There were multiple full black cities?
Yeah, all over the South, yeah. A lot of people didn't make the Great Migration.
And they were just like, we'll just hunger down here and fight niggas.
No, we'll just stay to ourselves and create what we create. And
damn, so is that like Atlanta and shit?
That's Georgia, but... No,
but I'm saying is a shit like that where it's like Atlanta where like that's a hub of like black excellence where like...
yeah, Atlanta being was the first place.
But like in my head, from what I know of, is that... So I'm just saying, is it like that where like...
Yeah.
It was just flourishing.
Also, all black people just fucking being together and all that shit. And then they get fucked with.
Okay. In Louisiana, that's crazy.
Yeah.
These are stories I've never heard.
It's a southern, you know what I mean, state. They had all that shit. Wherever slavery was, everybody didn't make it to Chicago. Everybody didn't make it to the north. Some people stayed. They had to stay.
I assumed the people that didn't make it to the north just were people that hunkered down and like just built families. Mm-hmm. And then that's where like they, you know, pushed all the black people towards. Like that, those communities of ghettos were just like, all right, you're going to stay here. We don't want you here, so we'll just push you into this.
Yeah, that's the thing. They didn't call them ghettos. They just called them regular-ass cities.
And you're like, hey, man, why don't we got, like, all the shit you got? And you're like...
And that's the thing. They had everything that they could ever fucking want.
Well, I'm talking about, like, the ghettos that I know. I'm not talking about what you're saying.
Oh,
I'm talking about, like, they were where black people were pushed.
Redlining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that. I'm not talking about what you're talking about.
Okay.
I'm trying to... Okay, so go ahead.
No, I've been talking for 25 minutes. Go ahead, bro.
You were just telling the story.
I know that. I know that. I have given as much as I can. You go ahead.
Okay. So we got people. Let's say it's the younger cat. Let's call him Malachi. just for name's sake, you can change it whenever. I don't give a fuck. But let's just say he's the guy, doing dirt, as he should just be like pushing people out, right? Or like reprimanding them. I'm showing up to show you didn't pay your money, but instead I'm killing like somebody. And then he's an evil version of bro who likes the black chicks. Not Stefan. Who's the other cat? Michael. He's an evil version of him where he does have a liking of black women, and he just shows it in a hateful way. Mm. And so that's what stirs up the shit, because the community's like, yo, we're doing the toll system like y'all said to get out of this area correctly, and now we're not. And our women are being assaulted, kids are going missing, men are going missing, and it's just this one fucked up dude who's backed up by a whole bunch of fucked up people that aren't his brothers. So there is a system of understanding that we're trading goods and money at a certain point. We'll put this color shit on the side, but I need this money to keep going. And then you got Malachi going off the rails like, no. We don't deal with that color money. It's like, all money's green. All money's green. And Malachi's like, no. Their money's, no. We could just kill them and take it. And they're like, we don't do that. Because they are bringing in more than our cities are. They're doing better on business than we are. Because I'm almost positive the reason this country is the way it is because of Black America. It is the fashion, it's the food, it's the culture, it's
the black dollar,
the production that we yield is crazy.
Yeah.
So I would assume that that's what they're going off of for this community, and that these other people, James, Jeremiah, and I do not write well, and Malachi is the dirty one, but there's another brother I forget. But yeah, I'm assuming that's what they're going off of. It's the fact that they're seeing money, he's seeing hate, and that's where the action comes in. Is that Malachi's homies get fucked up, and maybe Malachi goes to follow through on some shit, and is accidentally killed, or maybe what if he's immobilized or something? Like something's broken to where he can't move as much, and he's like, they jumped us. They were all around us, and it was him trying to like overdo a deal and get extra money and shit. And Oliver's homies were there like, next time they flex on y'all, show them why you don't do that. And he wasn't expecting somebody to flex on them. And he pulled out the cut with a fucking 1400 revolver and got his ass smoked, like fucked up real bad. And he's just like, and they took my dad's gun. He's got my dad's gun. And they're just like, what were you doing? And all the brothers want to know what he was doing. He's just like, we were just overseeing a deal. And he's like, that we don't have any deals in that area. What are you doing, man? And so they're starting to catch on to it, but now there's a war popping. Now you got people missing, and then now you've got this whole like skirmish between Malachi and Oliver's peoples. And those are front runner people. So when he's fucking with them, like, it fucks up it doesn't fuck up the community, but it fucks up this safe belief of that community because it was so close to home. Mm-hmm. And so now they're like, these people are driving through our canals all day. I see these boats all the time. You're telling me I'm supposed to feel safe in this community when people are driving by my house all day? And so it breeds that insecurity that the people that are running this city might be mixing, muddying the waters for their pockets, lining their pockets, so to speak. But nobody's lining shit with anything. Like, they're literally just trying to get their money. Malachi's out here salty because he took a bad end of a salty deal that he put in place. Mm-hmm. I'd say he ends up getting killed on some, like, vengeful shit, and Oliver does it. Oliver is the one that smokes him. Because he's like, I'm going to end this problem. You're the problem. It's not them, it's you. You don't show up tomorrow, these deals go down clean. And probably the oldest brother in this group would be like, Malachi was really after the man. And the fact that he's just gone and they're still trying to deal with this, I don't trust it. I don't trust him. And he's like, Malachi was always a rogue. He was always a rogue. Give him that, and like let these. We have to keep this city going. We live in a place where the market is this. It's these people. So do you want to deal with them or do you want to die? Which one is it? So you got a very like cerebral person. You got a very like emotional person who's mad that Malachi is now missing. And he never trusted Oliver. And Oliver ready talk like raspy to him. And he was like, they don't know respect over there. And Oliver was like, I'll show you respect. Come talk to me about respect. Mm. And he's the one that like says it while they're like mumbling. He's like, oh, I'll show you respect. His brother's like, hey man, come on, bro. Like we're trying to get in and out. Why are you doing this? He's like, no, I'll show him respect. Keep talking like, ooh, chin looks soft, baby boy. And he's just like, he's gonna fucking talk. So he's been dealing with that. Malachi goes missing, and he's still got that same energy. And he's killed him now. So maybe the energy isn't higher, but the energy is more like in himself rather than what he has to put out. Mm. Like he's looking at him without like looking away. You know what I mean? Yeah. And following him as he walks. And then when he looks at him, he like kind of smirks and then starts talking business or something. But like that kind of energy.
Yeah.
And so I would say for sure that the older brother who is upset confronts Oliver, and Oliver doesn't give him like that quote like he shouldn't have been in my neighborhood, but it's more of just like, you know, I'm not your brother's keeper, are you, like kind of thing. Like, you know, he swims in dark waters. I'm not the only shark out here, dog. What are you tripping on me for? You know what he does. You know how he fucks up people. And like maybe it's a one-on-one with him, and they get into a skirmish, and he almost kills Oliver, and they catch him in the middle of it. They break ties because they're just like, Malachi's missing. This nigga almost killed Oliver, but it was on some we spilled a drink shit, like where I just fell into a corner, and then you're just a bigger man, so you caught me against, you know.
Against a hard place.
Yeah, a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then that's what it is. And so they're in a skirmish, and he gets him in a dominant position, and people come in, and they're just like, we don't do business with you guys no more. We won't pay tolls, and y'all can suck a dick. And they're just like, you know this means war, right? This is our land. And they're just like, oh, we'll show you whose land this is. And there's a bigger black population in that area than them. So it's just like a whole series of people riding around on boats getting fucked up offshore. You know what I mean? Like, because any good picture in the 1980s was Dominican.
Yeah.
And Pop Mooney said it best. Cuban Dominicans ain't nothing but niggas that can swim.
Rest in peace, Paul Mooney.
Shout out Paul Mooney. But that's facts though. Like, it's just white shoulder Hispanics. That's all it is. And so and if we're gonna make it corny, you know what I mean, like cheesy, you could definitely play up on like the whole like fuck you up from like, the swamp is a weird place, and I've only been there once. But like, there's land that looks like you can step on it and you can't. And there's land that you don't think you shouldn't step on and you can. Like, it's weird, like, it's weird, right? But what I'm saying is that makes it fun for like the whole action part of it, because you could be squabbling with somebody, right? Throwing hooks, and then you fall into a swamp, and he steps over you and lands on a root and doesn't go down. And then you're like, you're underwater, right?
Yeah.
And then you go to get under, and you feel a gator get you, bruh.
Damn. Or a catfish.
Catfishes, I'm almost positive. I've seen river monsters. Jeremy Wade, hit us up. That's a great fish story that we can make for you. But for sure, there was catfishes back in the Dizzle that could have fucked up like Toot.
Yeah, it swallowed her whole.
Yeah.
Because they swallow fucking grown men.
Yeah.
So Tootie's fucking snack.
Man, poor Toot. I'll definitely stab the fuck out of a catfish.
But you never find us on no river.
No. Why?
Fuck
but
no.
for why, though?
Fuck
but for why? All right, go ahead. That was a solid chunk.
Yeah. So, in clarification, so one of these, let's say Malachi was the one that greeted Oliver and Lennox at the front door of the steps, right? Mm-hmm. And in that meeting, they agreed upon tolls, both on water and on roads, because they're not the only road that connects to this town. It's multiple roads.
Mm-hmm.
But they stay on their roads and shit like that, and they'll collect the toll of whatever the fuck just to pass through into the black town.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And if they catch any white people doing that shit, they'll
fuck them up.
Yeah, they'll charge them double. You know what I mean?
Oh, so there is white people going to this town.
Yeah, through the water, because they got all the tricks.
What are they going there for?
They're getting their bait that their wildlife eats.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because they have to go further down the channel to even reach the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So they are just like, none of our shit works down here, and this is about 5 miles down river or whatever the fuck into swamplands. It's nothing's working.
It matters. It matters. Yeah. There's a lot of deadfall in that shit.
They want a lot of they want rancid meat to be feeded on, all bottom feeders, like anything really, but their like their saltwater shit that they picked up from the other side of Louisiana don't work here. Mm-hmm. It's certain shit. So all action now, cornball shit. Okay, so the original shit was Michael and Teresa, right? But that's a solid C story. You know what I mean? Because that was what the whole fight was going to be about, or the whole getting into shit. But this shit is way more interesting, right? And we'll have, we'll have the duels in the water, the duels on the roads in the back. People just fading, fighting, assassinations left and right. Niggas getting blown back. Niggas getting blown off horses. Niggas hiding in trees with rifles and popping.
1950s,
niggas.
We had alligators, right?
Yeah.
Right, for sure in the Everglades, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And they weren't crazy populated, which means they got bigger because they had nobody else to contend with.
Humongous size.
Pythons are fucking them up now. The Everglades are just filled with pythons.
Yeah.
But back then, yeah, motherfuckers bringing over alligators and be like, hey, they go in the water. Yeah. And then Casey, you know what I mean? Skylar, just missing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Gone.
So that's your fault. Don't release fucking
30,
alligators.
40 feet, motherfuckers. Everybody's seen a black and white picture of a 50-foot alligator.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you're just like, was it extended? I'm like, I don't care if it was.
Yeah.
What's 45 to 50? How tall are you?
Exactly.
He could have swallowed you with his mouth open. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe they have these duels over water that is like, you don't want to fall into it.
All swamp shit.
Yeah.
It's swamp
and they're just
city.
fighting, and you see the eyes like a audience in the background. To whoever falls in is just
yeah. One of these, right?
On some Mortal Kombat shit. Remember how Mortal Kombat, the whole background could kill you?
Exactly.
And then whoever got the fatality threw you into the pond.
Activate the background and shit like that.
There you go.
Like the whole rock.
Mortal Kombat shit.
So we'll have one of them. One of the main fights is Lennox fighting James or something like that.
Jean-Pierre.
Jean-Pierre. Right? And they're in the mud.
That's Louisiana. That weird shit.
Exactly, that Cajun shit.
Yeah.
So they're in the middle, they're fighting and shit like that. There's a couple fights here and there, you hear guns go off. Jean-Pierre fucking brings a gun to a fist fight, pulls out on Lennox. Lennox does the we're talking about, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
karate shit.
Old
Lennox
school
is pulling
shit.
out, right?
Chuck Norris would be proud, kind of shit.
Exactly. He knocks the gun out of his hand. I want to say
Let's
it's
go.
like 4 feet away, right? And they both look at each other and die for that shit.
On
right?
some dumbass shit.
Die for it, all covered in mud. And it just activates, for some reason, it sends a vibration out
To the water.
crocodiles.
Alligators.
Yeah, alligators, right? And then all you hear is water splashing like 20 feet away. That means they're fucking swimming, bud.
And what's crazy about alligators is that they will all fight until the apex, like the big homie slides through.
Exactly.
And that should be for the boss fight.
Yeah, yeah.
And like it gets
Exactly.
quiet, the water it's quiet, and you just and you're like, ooh,
Exactly.
I'm gonna knock you out. You gonna get ate by the big homie.
We'll save the big homie for the main fight.
He's called the big homie.
The big homie, right? So they both died for the gun, and they're both like bloody fighting, bop, 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 like handling each other, right?
Yep.
And it's an even match, and Jean-Pierre knew that. That's why he brought a fucking gun. He knew when to pull that shit out.
Yep.
Because he felt how hard he punched, and he was like, I punched pretty much the exact same. So let me take out this gun because a knife is not going to work. You know what I mean?
I'm not sitting here trying to play like if I go out or if I don't go out.
Exactly. I got to take this nigga out.
I gotta put you out.
So they both die for that shit. They're fighting.
Let's go.
Lennox grabs the gun, but Jean-Pierre, he has his wrist. He's on top of him. Ha! Nigga, hold that. Like,
And they're glancing, but some of them are landing.
Exactly.
You feel me? So it's a
maybe
hard
the hand-
struggle, but he
missed
does
with-
go out kind of.
He missed with the hand, but Jean-Pierre puts so much force in there, he lands the elbow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Whole eyebrow just turned into a pussy.
they feel it. They feel eyes on them, and they look up, and there's just like
An audience.
three or four alligators around them, right? Mm-hmm. And they're like fighting for the gun at the same time, and Lennox aims at the alligators and fires at them, pow, and they kind of like skid off, and then Jean-Pierre looks at him, he's just like, and just hold it. You know what I mean? Like a thank you, but fuck you. You know what I mean? And so his grip is getting weaker, Lennox's grip, and every punch is just getting loose and loose, right? And then he smashes his wrist down into the mud real fucking deep and is fucking with the gun. Lennox is trying to preserve that shit because he knows if mud gets into it, you can't fire it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So Lennox grabs Jean-Pierre's nuts and squeezes the fuck out of him.
You
right?
went really different with it, but all right.
Right? And he's just like, oh, my nuts. You know, you feel me? He kicks him off of him, and then now Lennox is just feeding the body, left and right. And then he finds a gun in his hand. He's like, oh shit, I still have the fucking gun. While Jean-Pierre's holding his ball sack, he pulls back the gun, click, doesn't go off. So he feeds his right hand to his left, all fucking butt of the gun, just smack.
Wow. Pan's Labyrinth.
You know what I'm saying?
What's your brain look like?
And then now the alligators just like,
Oh, it's time for eating.
yeah. So they come in, and then Jean-Pierre is still like semi-conscious as they're dragging his body into the water. He's like, oh, my nuts. And they fuck him up and start twirling in the water and shit. And Lennox is just like, French motherfucker. You know what I mean? And then the fights go on and shit. So after that dies down, we lost some people. Mm-hmm. But we took most of the dubs. Congregate back into the town hall. Oliver's all covered in mud. Everybody who's fought is there. Well, almost maybe about from the 180 people, it's like maybe 120 left because they got guns too. You know what I mean? They got raised in the same area as well.
I would say, just to be real, I'd say it's like a 60-40 split, 40 for men, 60 for women.
So women are out there fighting.
Like really squabbing, really like losing limbs though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people are showing up like a woman's just shaking, losing an arm. She's like, killed that rat bastard. And she just don't have an arm no more.
Yeah, exactly.
But she killed that rat bastard though. You know what I mean?
So everybody's just like, everybody's still like in a tizzy a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they're kind of blaming Oliver for taking the fucking deal anyway. We should have fought them in the first place. And he was just like, this is what I had to take because it was just a tiny piece. That was it. That's all it was supposed to be. But these blood hungry crackers wanted more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're just like, we got to finish this shit. This can't go on any longer. We got to storm their city. Mm-hmm. That's what we have to do. They have no problem coming here. Why can't we go over there? And they're just like, okay, Oliver says. And then in a day's time, he was just like, no, Lennox stands up. He's like, fuck that. Right now. Everybody, mount up. And niggas just like, all right, go ahead. Oliver just like.
And then you just hear, regulator.
Mount up. It was a cold, dark night.
It's all about fucking this song. It's coming some niggas that interrupted me from trying to fuck.
Yeah. Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I thought he was buying a hoe.
Night. No, he was on the pursuit to get some skirts. You feel me?
Oh yeah. Then he got robbed,
and then he saw some nigga playing craps, and he was like, "Hey, it was good." They were like, "Oh damn!" And then he got, and then the homie Nate Dogg slid through, blasted a few people, and then went right back to getting skirts.
He got 17, nigga, and one in the hole.
Nate Dogg about to make some bodies go cold. Shout out Nate, R.I.P. bruh.
Oh man,
Angel in the Hood, dog.
Hey, this nigga Pat be fronting like a motherfucker. I was like, yo, you heard of the song? I got hoes. He's like, I wasn't raised on that music. Why that? And for argument's sake, my nigga will not admit anything. So don't ask him.
Oh no, I won't. Just like if my argument is against it,
yeah.
Just to spite you, be like, you've never said the N word. I'm like,
never.
And they're just like, hey man, we got you on a podcast. I'm like, fight me then. How about that? How about that?
I wasn't raised with that music. I'm like, this nigga like, 17 and one in the hole, dog, okay, so fuck it, everybody mount up. They putting the shotgun shells across her shit. Theresa May got the sawed off, double barrel sawed off. Hops on her horse, Peggy. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ready to ride.
Gabrielle Union. I want her to be Gabrielle Union.
Exactly, bro. We're going to fuck with that. So everybody gets on, and everybody's riding. And all you see, and it's nightfall by now, all you see is just 100 some odd. Just like the fear that we have in our eyes when we see those cloaked cowards that our ancestors saw carrying torches into our city. Mm-hmm. Or you see them right at the ridge, and you're just like,
well, somebody died tonight.
Exactly, bro. Your great-great-grandpa was just like, we gotta fucking
get on a horse.
Exactly.
And you're just like, we only have one horse. He's like, I know.
Woo! That nigga got a pitchfork, though.
Hey, but cuz gets on the horse just drives. Fuck you, nigga. No, grandpa definitely, you're going to hear him scream at the end. And it's going to be that ugly at the end.
And it was just a bunch of niggas holding them down while they like.
I'm going to say the worst shit, though. Like when they pull up and they're just like, where's your family at? I'm like, up, your wife is puss. And they're just like, what? I'm like, up, your wife's pussy? Vagina. Her vagina.
Yeah.
And they're just like, shoot this. And I'm just like, say it and I'll stab you. And then I die. You know what I mean? But they're going to hate what I said before.
Where's your family at? In these nuts, nigga. You want to taste? And you nigga just like, bow! Shoots the fuck out of me.
And then I'm just like, it's crazy. My nuts the same consistency. Ask your wife. Die. And then they're just like, that was good. That was good, Sergeant. Yeah. That was good. He's like, I know.
So they're riding, and people are catching wind of that shit, like from the town. They see it from. So let's say Breitling is on a hill.
Okay.
Kind of, and so you can see down, and then you see a little further, it's water.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, but really, waterways, it's quicker to, it's longer.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So everybody has fear the women and children are getting put in the basements and shit like that. Steven and Michael has left. He's like, this ain't going to end well. He deserts. He don't give a fuck.
He's not with Theresa May?
No, because so let's say they rendezvoused a couple times, and she says, if anything happens,
I'm with my people.
What, nigga?
And he was just like, you're not just trying to run? She's like, nah, like, I'm here. I'll die here or I'll live here. But there is no in between. You change colors in the summer, boy, and in the winter. I stay my color 365. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no shade of sun that makes me look different.
Yeah. I can't say that I'm something else. You can, though. And he's just like, well, senora, I'm going to Mexico.
I bid you adieu.
He was like, oh, I'm in love with you for sure, but
I'm a coward.
I'll leave this shit, bro.
I'm not built for this life. I didn't want to do this.
Yeah.
You see that I'm like risking my life to be here with you right now.
And they're like fucking like all the time.
Yeah. And every time he's just like, he leaves and he's like, we could go. And she's like,
no,
we don't run from things.
Exactly.
We run towards it.
Woo.
And you're just like, ugh.
And that's what you see. That's the
final
that
thing.
You see as her. Just
all of them riding. And then you hear that in the background, like, why don't you just run? It's like, we don't run from things. We run towards them. And then and you don't know how it is. Like Glory.
Yeah.
Remember when they busted and it was just hella gunshots in their face? Like that was the best build up to the worst ending of all time.
Bro.
How are you gonna build up to them being like Denzel being like, let's kill these crap. Bah! Whole face gone.
Oh shit.
Come on, man.
Yo, nigga. Denzel, 1 tear. White guy from Godzilla, no tears. Kind of a beard and a mustache. Riding with these niggas. Well, actually he didn't. He left. They ran into imminent doom. So, hitting that shit. Get it, bro. Get it.
Whole bunch of that shit.
Yeah, exactly,
Whole bunch of that shit.
And she's riding no fear in her eyes, bro. And she makes sure that
there's tears in her eyes because she's realizing the life that she's going into.
But she knows that Michael's not there.
Yep.
So she doesn't have to worry about the only love of her life dying.
It's all the other people that are finna die.
Exactly. So they ride.
You should have like a hatchet, like some old school like gang shit. Like
that's what Oliver has, right?
What does she have?
She has a double barrel sawed-off shotgun.
Woo! On a fucking horse, side saddle, nigga. Like, what's good, nigga? I'm still a woman, bitch. Bah! Whole face gone.
So they come in, they swoop in there. It looks deserted, right? And then like, what the fuck? Like, where those motherfuckers at? And then all you see is this nigga Charles roll into the center of town, just like, I knew we should have wiped you niggas off the faces.
Malachi.
No. Charles, Duke.
Old cuz.
Wheels into that bitch.
She shoots his face right off his body.
No. Oliver throws an axe through his fucking stomach. As soon as that, we should have never gave y'all niggas. Hold that.
Should have never gave you niggas money.
And then throws that shit right into his chest.
And then it's like, fucking the first 5 minutes of The Revenant.
Exactly, bro. It's a wheel. Everybody just starts to bust, bro.
Bow.
Setting fire to the fucking
white establishment.
Exactly.
And they're like, whoa, you're doing this?
Nigga,
like,
burn it down.
We need that pharmacy, dog. We only have one. And you're like, ain't that crazy? When you burn shit down, you ruin like a city, right?
Right. Boom! Hold that, boy. And then they start fighting, and then so they have the higher ground because they're in the top of the buildings.
Yep.
But they're just like
you see niggas getting sniped.
Yeah, exactly.
Niggas getting caught up.
But at the same time, Lennox is leading them, and so is Oliver, into burning those fucking houses down. You flank them off to this side, burn their house down, stay behind this and this. You know what I mean? They're leading them properly, and they're slowly burning the city down. People are jumping out of the top of the buildings on fire.
Black generals.
Exactly, bro. And they see their full
and they know their territory.
Exactly. They see their full capability in this shit because World War II they couldn't do it like this how they want to do it. They had to follow commands.
Yeah, and they're just like, this is leading us in a bad territory, and they're just like, you shut the fuck up, man.
Yeah.
Just follow orders. And then you're like, we lost that battle, but guess what battle we're going to win?
Yeah.
Today.
This one. So
Today.
they shoot and all that shit like that, and everything's pure chaos first 5 minutes of the fucking Revenant and shit like that. And they meet, so Malachi, he sees Malachi dip off into into the town hall, into the front doors, right? He dips off in there, and in the middle of fighting Oliver, he's just like, I got that motherfucker. He runs right after him with a pistol and an axe, right? And they go in there, and he's just like, hey, come on, boy, and like whistles and shit like that. Calls out Marco Polo and shit like that, trying to get him out. And that Malachi, he shows his position by shooting, and it grazes his ear, like damn hella fucking close. But he had like cat-like reflexes and moves at the last fucking second, action shit. And he was like, it kind of dazes him.
Yeah, it's a stunning thing.
Yeah,
that noise into your ear and your eardrum.
And it blew right half your fucking ear off.
So what you call that is a blown eardrum.
Yeah. So he loses his fucking pistol, falls to his back, and then all he hears like, and it's Malachi running towards this nigga he's a sick fuck, so he want to see the life leave from his eyes. Just shooting the nigga won't. It's not enough. What he wants. It's not enough.
Yeah.
So he goes on top of him, and then he clicks his fucking 6-shooter back and holds it right there, and then he's just like, look at me. And then that nigga, Oliver, just like, ugh. He looks up, and then Theresa May's right at the door. Boom! Hold that, pussy boy.
Whole face goes backwards. He's looking at his thoughts.
Does it just like Pulp Fiction. Hits him in the gut. The nigga's like, oh!
Yeah.
And then Oliver just like, rolls to his stomach, builds his base back up, elbow on his knee, and he uses the axe to get back up. And then
without fail, just swings and takes off his head.
Not even hesitation.
Yeah,
as soon as he's erect.
It was like a workout. He knew that, like, this is my last rep. Exactly. Get up, take a head off.
His last fucking, as soon as he was erect, up came the axe right down the middle of his fucking head. Splits that shit.
Cities afire. Cities ablaze, right?
Yep.
They're walking out. And you just see niggas coming out of white establishments burning, right? And this is their apocalypse because they're like, they can do this to us.
Yeah.
Right? They all get back on their shit and go back to the swamp, right? As they're walking, homegirl with that rifle walks past Stefan, the OG that came out like, yeah, and just shoots him again. Just for good old spite. Yeah. You know what I mean? Walks past like, bah! Just shoots him one more good time. And then they get on, you're like, this isn't over. He's like, this will never be over. Hear a boat start. They drive away. And this is the beautiful part. The big boy comes out. The big alligator. And he's the last thing you see. Is that, like, these waters are dangerous for anybody. Despite color, this ain't a good place because everybody has angst. Everybody has animosity. Everybody has all these southern traditions built into you. There's always dangers in these waters. Nuggle. And then that's how it ends. But we have IC narrating the whole thing. They didn't know.
Hey, man.
Hey, Ice-T, you're horrible at narrating shit.
And it's a 35-foot alligator just waddling up to the town of Brightling, ready to fucking feast.
Yeah. Because he knows what...
Camera peers over Charles Duke as he's laid back with an axe in his chest.
Skips dead bodies to get to him.
Exactly, because he's the biggest one. Camera peers over and you just see the nigga just waddling. And then it cuts to black Swamp City.
Yep, Swamp City, bitch. Swamp City, bitch. Hey,
yeah.
Let's go.
How you like that?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
The only alternate ending would be that I could think of in my head off top that would like fuck it up in a good way.
If Stefan shoots Oliver.
No, if Michael is watching it from a distance.
Oh, on top of a horse.
Like he came back.
Oh shit.
And he saw what they did to the town and how brutal they can be as well.
Ah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that could be like a little different angle. Is that like he was like, I'm trying to get away from this anger and hate that my people have.
Does he ride? Does it end with him riding back into town?
No.
You never know what the fuck he does after that?
It ends in the same way.
Yeah.
And then you see a POV, and then it draws back, and then it eventually draws behind him. And then you see that it's Michael watching the city being ransacked and killed. And then they go back into the water. And then he sees the alligator come out and consume his fucking dad.
Yeah.
And he's like, what the fuck? And that's the reality of somebody pushing away their heritage, knowing that it's evil, and then it coming back to eat your father in your face. That's the biggest slap in the face the universe can give you, right?
Yeah.
I think.
And then he just like, you know how you pull the horse up to turn?
Mm-hmm.
He just pulls it up and just goes in the other direction.
Yep.
Right? But I want to add Lennox's fight. Right?
All right, go ahead.
So they're burning down houses and shit like that. And then he catches the chapter leader's house or the sheriff or they're in the jail. Steven and his wife and kids, right? Because he was like, I'm gonna hide with my fucking family. Everybody else wants to fight. His heart isn't in this shit. So Lennox comes upon this nigga and he's like, he wants to murder all these niggas, but it's that trickle down effect. First of all, if I leave these kids alive, they're gonna live a day to kill me.
Yeah.
Or to kill my people.
Yeah.
Or
become them.
Yeah. Or become them.
To undo them. Like it's like a weird like roundabout thing. To kill a kid so they don't become the person that you hate. But if you killed them, you become the person that bred you.
That they are.
That made you.
Exactly. So he just like holsters his gun again. And then he like turns around and you hear a gunshot. Bah! And a picture on the wall like falls off and it's like the wife holding the rifle standing up and Steve's just like grabbing at her back. Just like, bitch, we were there, nigga. And then Lennox just pulls out his gun again. Bow, 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 bow. Lays all of them out. Kills them. Fuck yeah.
I like that you wanted to throw that in there.
Because like, Lennox has to have the last fight. It can't just be Jean-Pierre. Because that was a day ago. I feel like
who had more emotional baggage in this?
Both of them. This is both their city. They both came from war.
But they both took it a different way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One was like, let's go MLK fucking Malcolm. That's what it essentially was. One was like, we don't need to bow to these niggas. And other dude was like, let's just pay the fee so we keep the city going. And so honestly, the homeboy shit should be more of like that moral thing, like you were saying, like where he has to murk a whole family. Yeah. And he was trying to be moral. And that's what you lose in war is your morality, your humanity. You lose that in war, right?
Yeah.
And so for him, he was trying to keep that piece of himself. And that piece of his community was like, we go to war, we turn into things that we aren't.
And that's seeing those people in that light. When you see somebody cowering, am I going to take this nigga's life in front of his kids or take his kid's life as well?
Yeah.
And then the gunshot happens. That's what changes it. Because he had that, I'll let these people go.
And then she shoots.
Yeah. And if she didn't have a bad fucking shot, she would have just murdered me.
Yeah. My whole brain would be on these walls right now.
Exactly.
So now I got to wet all y'all up.
Yeah.
I got to wear that.
Maybe you don't see it. Maybe it draws back from the jail. The camera draws back from the jail cell. And all you see is just like 5 flashes of light.
Mm-hmm. No, nobody wants to see like a whole family die.
I'm okay with that. But a lot of people aren't.
I'm okay with seeing like a mom and dad die.
Yeah.
But once I see kids getting smoked, I'm just like, I'm out.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I'm out. Yeah. But I'm okay with the bangs of or the flashes of light. That.
As long as I don't see it. It happened though, but as long as I don't see it.
Yeah. It's just like real life, man. Yeah. Everybody cares about war. Just don't show me it. Like,
yeah,
I'm down for it.
You know, American
don't show
shit,
me it.
But yeah, I don't want to see you guys do those things.
I want to see. You want to watch Saving Private Ryan? Like, nah, man. Like,
spicy.
Real war.
Yeah, close it up.
All right, man. I think that was good. Thank you guys for joining us on the Scrapbook Make Our Movie.
Swamp City Act 2 and 3.
Swamp City Act 2 and 3. Let's go. We're coming out with a lot of content. We got bangers ready for you guys. If you guys don't like them, say something. You like them, say something. What you gonna do about it though? Nothing. So love y'all. Shout out Ashburn. For some reason y'all like us and we like y'all too. So keep it popping. Shout out to y'all and keep it moving. Stay creative. Be your best self. Because every day is a new day, baby. Let's go.
Deuces. Love you. Don't stop being creative. Peace.